What's up again, everybody? I've got another combo video here for you today. Now, there are a couple of different ways to put this combo together, and while I wouldn't describe this version of the combo as the optimal build, this version of the combo does carry some small advantages in certain areas, which we will talk about in a moment. First things first, let's get to the crux of the combo itself. This is Batgirl Babs. She is a super rare from the world's finest set, and one of my top favorite cards in recent memory. She's a 4-cost mask character with a Bat family affiliation. She's got an 0-3-1 side, a 1-3-2 side, and a 1-4-3 side, and she has an amazing ability that says when Batgirl takes damage, deal 4 damage to target opposing characters divided any way you choose. This makes her both a great blocker and an attacker, and if you could ping her for 1 damage at a time, then you can deal a ton of damage to your opponent's board. For those of you who have been in the game long enough, this has a lot of the board clearing potential that Hulk Green Goliath from the AVX set had. In fact, when I first saw this card, it reminded me exactly of that card, which is probably one of the reasons I love it so much. If you're new to the game of Dice Masters and you're not sure who Hulk Green Goliath is and why he's so awesome, then I highly recommend jumping over and watching the Hulk Control Team videos that I uploaded a couple of months back. Oh geez, I just checked, and by a couple of months, I guess I mean last July. I can't believe it's almost been a year since I've started doing these things. Anyway, back to the combo. So how are we going to use Batgirl's ability to the best of our ability? Well, we're going to start by using the common Static from the Green Arrow and the Flash set. Static is a 3-cost Bolt character with a Teen Titans affiliation, an 0-2-1, 0-3-2, and a 1-4-3 side, very similar stat line to Batgirl herself, and his ability states that while Static is active, whenever your opponent rolls 2 or more dice at once, deal 1 damage to target character die. So here's a little mock scenario of what our combo is going to look like. We have 2 Batgirl dice on the field and 1 Static die on the field, and our opponent starts his turn with 3 sidekicks and 1 level 3 Ronin on his board. Our opponent begins his roll and reroll step, and the moment he rolls his first 4 dice, Static's ability triggers. We choose to deal his 1 damage to one of our Batgirl dice, and then Batgirl deals 4 damage, split any way we want. Our opponent then moves to his reroll step, and if he chooses to roll 2 or more dice at that time, then we get to do this whole process again. So before our opponent has any opportunity to deal with our characters on his turn, Batgirl's ability is already dealing with the things that are on his board, and anything that gets KO'd is getting KO'd on his turn, which means he's not re-rolling it immediately. Now, it's at this point that I think we should address the elephant in the room, and that is, why not just use Unstable Canisters Global, the reprint of Magic Missile? Well, I for one am all for that idea, and I really like that card, and I like the ability, and that's exactly how the Hulk Green Goliath team would function in the past. There is a slight downside in running a combo with Canister, and that is that your opponent can activate the global whenever is most beneficial to them on their turn, and with Batgirl's defensive stat line being so low, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for your opponent to just pay a few bolts, get rid of your Batgirl dice, and then field all their stuff. This was never an issue with the Hulk Control Team because Hulk had such high defensive stats that it was extremely impractical, if not impossible, for your opponent to remove him using the Bolt Global alone. But it is worth considering when your defensive stat line is a 1-2-3. That being said, is this fact enough to make Canister a bad choice for the combo? Not in my opinion, no, but the benefit that Static provides is the ability to trigger Batgirl's text without handing over the keys to your opponent to do the same whenever they see fit. Also, it's just another creative way to put this combo together, and come on, it's characters and combos, and that's fun, right? Okay, so let's look at the rest of the team. We currently have a way to trigger Batgirl's ability on our opponent's turn, but now let's add a piece that triggers her ability on our turn. Vulture is a 3-cost fist character from the Amazing Spider-Man set. He's got an extremely similar stat line to the other 2 dice that we have so far, and his ability says when fielded, deal 1 damage to target character die. If that die leaves the field zone this turn, Vulture gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn. He fits well on this team because he provides a way for us to trigger Batgirl's ability on our turn, while also just being generally good and having an ability that can KO one of your opponent's sidekicks and get buffed itself. Because the combo of this team centers around constantly clearing your opponent's board, having other control pieces that help you keep on the board and stay in control of the game, I feel are really strong. So for that purpose, we're throwing in Ronin Between Employers. He allows us to get him out easily as a 3-cost mask character, and he also provides us with a really nice ability to absorb damage just in case something gets through, or if we can't trigger Batgirl in a meaningful way to clear your opponent's board on a specific turn. So far, we've got all 3 and 4 drops, which are nice, but I like having a 2-drop. The ability to pay 2 on your turn 1 if you go first is really strong, and then prep it over with Rip Hunter's Chalkboard is a strong play. So we're going to put on Casey Jones' Broken Home. He's a 2-cost fist character with another decent stat line. All of these stat lines up to this point are pretty similar, which is pretty consistent and nice. He's got an ability that says Casey Jones can block up to 3 character dice with purchase cost of 2 or less. There are a few other nice 2-cost options that can fill this slot and do this whole blocking thing, most notably Black Widow, specifically the one that can block anything of fielding cost 0. That's a fine addition if you would like to tech that one in over this one. This one does have a higher attack stat overall, but that one has the flexibility capability of blocking a ton of things with 0 cost, not just 2 drops. With all of these low drop characters and decent stat lines, a 5-drop Hercules, that's a fist character, we've already got some fist synergy, works perfectly. His ability reads that when Hercules attacks, other attacking character dice get +1 attack. So in a way, he's like a more expensive, less good Bard, but now that Bard's gone, of course, this is a great card. And if you've built up a board of static dice, Batgirl dice, he can pose a significant end-game threat. Rounding out the last 2 spots, we've got Rip Hunter's Chalkboard, of course, for that global that allows us to pay a shield and prep something over once we've purchased it. And we have Justice because, again, he's got a great stat line. He's a 2-cost character. We've spread around our energy types, so we can really purchase anything. This is a super low drop team, which means depending on the quality of your opponent and their ability to read situations, you actually have a couple of different ways to kill them. You could either just board clear them out and then swing with some stuff, or you can build up a board immediately with these low-cost drops and then just kill them. There's a lot of flexibility, it seems, in this team thus far. As for basic actions, we've got one of the usual suspects in Superhero Registration Act. Ramp is important in Dice Masters, and you should find some way to include it in some form or fashion on your team. Our second basic action is Too Big to Fly. It's a 4-cost action card that says KO target character die with attack of 5 or greater. Looking at our team, this doesn't hurt us very much because we cap out for the most part at 4. Most of the time we'll just use this card for the global, which says pay a fist, target character die gains +1 attack until the end of the turn, which helps us push a little bit of damage whenever we need it. In the worst case scenario, we can actually purchase this card and use it if we're running up against something that is very scary, like a board clearing dragon, I don't know. But it's mostly there for the global that allows us to push extra damage whenever we need it. So there you have it. There's a team that allows you to play around with the Batgirl ability, which is a very strong one, and keep your opponent from triggering it whenever they see fit. All the trigger mechanisms are hidden within the team, and while triggering Batgirl in this instance in this team is a little more difficult than if you were just running something like Unstable Canister, I could definitely see this team being run in a conquest mode or one of those attrition mode from Dice Masters where the cards from each winning team each week get eliminated and can't be used in further team building activities. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this team, what cards you would trade out for what, and what modifications you would make. If you've got other interesting combos that you'd like to see featured or that you want other people to know about, shoot them my way, pop them in a comment below, and I'll see what I can do and put those together. As always, thanks for watching.